Thank you guys for watching. I am Hans. This is my channel. Today we are going to be talking about wireless internet and how to get some long range stuff going. I bought some of these little antennas that are supposed to talk to each other, and you put one on one building and one on the other and kind of point them towards each other so they have clear line of sight, and they're supposed to talk to each other and give you about 300 megabytes a second. I don't believe that at all because we have tested it and it seems like it comes out to be closer to like 13 to 20 megabytes a second. I saw a guy that did this video and he actually had these big antennas. They were really big and he was able to connect those two things. They're about 250 bucks and it was just instant. It just worked. You just pointed them towards each other. You set up your router as an access point on the receiving side and you plug your router into the broadcast side. He was getting the same speed in his house as he was in his shop, so those worked really well. These did not do that for me. Moving on from there, I went out and I bought some really powerful Asus routers. So I bought this one, and I bought this one as well. I actually bought two of these, and I bought this one. Now, Asus has this thing called AI Mesh, and you're supposed to be able to connect all of these together and create a mesh network so that they'll all talk to each other. And you can also set these up to be a bridge, like a wireless bridge. You could set it up to be an access point. So there's lots of different options in the app to set this thing up. For this router in particular, it's the AC3100. And this one is really super powerful. I have to say, when it works really, really well. The only problem is it only works for about an hour at a time. And then it shuts off or just completely throttles down and it doesn't work. You reset it, it takes a little while, maybe 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's working again and it's really fast and it's super solid and it seems like it's gonna work again, and then it doesn't. In the instructions on this, it says get your PC and hook it up to the ports back here to run your diagnostics and get it set up the way you want. I haven't set up a router in a really long time, so I figured I had to have a PC because that's what it said in the instructions, PC. I have Mac everything. My iPhone, I've got my Mac computer, my Mac Pro, everything is Mac. So I went and I dug up this old PC that I had and I hooked it up to here. And after about an hour, I got it configured because my PC is so slow, it wouldn't talk to this thing. And then pretty soon I was able to connect to it wirelessly. And then I found out when I bought this, because on the instructions on this newer model, and this isn't that old. I mean, come on, man, you guys have had this app out for years and you're just not putting that in the manual that you can just download the app on your phone, which I figured out after that. And you can configure these that way. And you could also see what they're doing and who's on the network and what they're talking, how they're talking to each other. So I set this up originally as an AI mesh, thinking, okay, this is cool. I'm going to add one more. Hopefully I can go from this building to the back of this building. So we kind of daisy chain it this way. It doesn't work that way with the AI mesh. It works like this. Here's your main router. Here's this router. And then you have to have another router that will talk to this main router. So this router sort of has to be in the middle. That didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, but I was like, okay, let me do this. We got the AI mesh working with this and the other router. So these two are the same brand and everything, same model, same everything. They're the 3100. So I put this one and that one so that they were on the mesh. And then I reconfigured this one as an access point. So an access point needs to be hardwired in. So you basically go from here, which is the mesh, which is basically like one internet signal, come out of here and go into here. That didn't work either. So I tried everything to get this one to actually connect with this one. And I figured, okay, well, let's just connect it up, put this as part of the mesh, and then I'll worry about how to create an access point later running a wire from one of the two of these back into my media room so I could hardwire my TV into that. About 3 days into this project, and I'm not exaggerating, I hate to say it because I'm the first one to admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about Asus. You think about Asus, think about this. When you hear the word Asus, what do you think of? In my head, it triggers laptops and routers. Those are the two things I think of right away. And that's mainly what they sell, is laptops and routers and all kinds of network gear. You would think that they would be really, really good at this. And their app is actually pretty good. I was actually fairly impressed with the way that it interfaced. And so this is what the app looks like. So you've got your internet, you got your router, and then these are my two nodes right here. So this is showing it actually daisy chaining through here, but that's not working at all. We get 0 signal over on this one. So this is really kind of cool. You could see the different routers I had hooked up here and what they are. So this one was set up as a router. This was a node. You can label each room or whatever. Let's go back. And then you can go into this one. It'll show you all of the settings for that one and give you all your IP addresses. And then this one will do the same thing. So you can see that I had all of these routers hooked up. When you go back here to the home, and this is showing up as these things are all working, all of these things are actually in the boxes getting ready to go back to Best Buy. So it's not exactly accurate. Super disappointing. Come on, Asus. All in all, after wasting all of this time, all of this money and energy trying to get this to work, I got to thinking about how I'm going to get this to actually work. So in my office, I have this little setup with these things called Orbis, and they're made by Netgear. Netgear built this little mesh system that has 2 satellites and 1 router. We have about, I don't know, I think it's 6,000 square feet in our office. And so we basically have a router in each section that's 2,000 each, and we get great coverage everywhere all the time. It works great. And I don't know why I was fussing with all this, because I've never used an Asus router before. Asus, however you say it. I just assumed that they were really good. But now I'm assuming, because I've tested and actually tested and tested and tested, and I've tried every configuration to get this to work, I'm assuming they're not very good. They did work. And when they did, it was great. I had one at my main building. I had one over here at this building, and I was getting like 450 megabytes a second. It was screaming fast. I was getting about 22 megabytes a second up. For me, that was a dream come true because my internet is so slow out here right now. But it only works for about an hour at a time. Is that, I don't know, man. That's a lot of resetting the router. That's a lot of frustrating time when you're trying to upload something and it just stops. Or Asus needs to work on their consistency, because anyways. So this system that we have at the office, the Orbis, made by Netgear, I started looking into that, and they have a new version that is actually meant for a 7,200 square foot house, which means that's going to give me the range that I need to get from my first building to my second building, and I'll have a mesh network. So the property that I'm on is pretty big, and that's going to give me like a super strong signal between those two buildings as well. So if I'm just out in my front yard washing the car and I want to stream some music or stream a video on my iPad or whatever it is, I'm going to have like a super solid, really good network connection between these two buildings. And then inside each building, I'm going to have one have a router. I'm going to have the other building have 2 access points, or satellites. Sorry, they're not actually access points. They call them satellites. And the cool thing about this is that these will work in concession. So I can have a router, I can have one satellite, and I can have this satellite talk to this satellite over here, which is really cool. That was really what I was expecting this to do, and it did not do that by any means. And even if it did, it would only work for like an hour at a time. So maybe I got bad equipment. Maybe I bought like a bad batch of routers, but I bought 2 of these from Best Buy, exact same model, so that I could get my bridge. And I got the mesh and I got the bridge. I tried to do it as a repeater. I tried like every configuration that I could think of. Then I went out and I bought this one. And this one even worked worse than these ones. Like I couldn't even get this one to connect forever. It would not even recognize any of this stuff. When you open up the app, it says, here's a list of devices. Which ones do you want to configure? And you can go in, and this one, I had to reset it like 3 times just to get it to show up in there. So maybe I have bad equipment. I don't know. Like I said, I'm really the first one to admit when I'm wrong, but I don't think I did anything wrong on this. I really did try. I did spend about 3 days messing around with this, and I'm just taking all this stuff back. I'm going to get this Orbi system. And when I get the system, right now shipping's kind of messed up because of this whole virus, but when I get them, I'm going to show you how easy it is. It should only take me about 20 minutes to set up the whole entire system and get it up and running and working. And then hopefully the stability on these things is insanely good. Like I said, in my one in my office, it's been running for like 3 years and I really haven't even fussed with it at all. I should go back and see if there's any way I can get an update to make it go faster, but it's already really fast. We never have any problems with it. Stay tuned for that video, and thank you guys for watching. I really am not trying to bash Asus, but I am telling you the truth about this and this AI mesh and these routers. They are not all they're cracked up to be, in my opinion, and I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know why they're not working, but I put forth the best effort that I could and a lot of time, and I still couldn't get them to work. So stay tuned for my next video, and you guys will see me there.